straight up in the air. It's the first boundary for Dravid. India move on to 4. Stopped by Ponting. That's gone high in the air. He picked the length quickly with that one.
Well, he's only been out there for a few minutes and he timed that perfectly.
There it goes. Dravid moves into double figures with those runs. Superb shot. Really looks in fine nick today.
He played that shot to perfection.
That over helped the run rate somewhat.
The fielding restrictions provide the opportunity for attacking batsmen to score some fast early runs.
Lee to Tendulkar. That's too short, and it's been dispatched for 4. That's the first boundary for Tendulkar. That's a good shot. Tendulkar is looking to punish any short deliveries.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary. India will be looking to take full advantage of the early fielding restrictions by scoring some quick runs.
McGrath to begin a new over. There it goes. He smashed that right out of the ground.
Well, he really hit that a long way. Exciting stuff.
Ponting is not going to reach that. Dravid has now moved into the 20s. McGrath at the start of his run-up. There it goes. That was a superb placement.
He really laid into that delivery. 4 runs all the way.
Stopped by Ponting. It's high in the air. Smashed that right out of the ground.
It doesn't really matter if it goes in the air if you hit it that far.
47 overs are left in the innings.
The one-day fielding restrictions really give attacking batsmen an advantage at the start of the innings.
Lee to Tendulkar. He's worked that into the gap. Collected by Lehmann. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Play it away with comfort. That takes him into double figures. 46 overs are left for India.
The openers have really started well. They're taking advantage of the one-day fielding restrictions.
McGrath to begin a new over, stopped by Lehman. It's in the air. Played with a beautifully straight bat.
The bowlers really need to keep it tight at this stage of the match.
A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. That's in the stands. 6 runs. He smashed that right out of the ground.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence.
That's gone high in the air. That wasn't a very good delivery.
Yes, that was a lovely shot. He will have enjoyed that one.
That's the end of the 5th over. Lee to begin a new over. And that's out. Caught by Warren.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
Laxman facing his first ball. 44 overs are left in the innings. It's high in the air. The crowd are standing and applauding. That's a great moment for him. Dravid has scored 50 off 17 balls. It's in the air. He picked the length quickly with that one.
What can I say about that shot? He looks in top form today.
McGrath continues. It's high in the air. Super shot by Dravid.
That was a beautifully played leg glance. Right off the face of the bat, just turning the wrists as it got to him.
That's gone high in the air. Dravid very quickly onto that one.
He dispatched that for 4 with great confidence.
Well, that'll beat the fielder. He watched that onto the bat perfectly.
He picked his spot well there, a glorious bound.
McGrath to Dravid. Overpitched and crashed away. He found the gap with precision.
He plays that shot really well and it brings him lots of runs.
24 runs came from that over. Lee to begin a new over. Those are the first runs for Laxman. Picked up by Warren. very good over. Only 2 off it in the end. Stopped by Harvey. He smashed that one right out of the ground.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
Dravid is now facing. It's in the air. He's going to have to move here. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Superb shot. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
That was a wonderful shot. He looks in great shape out.
McGrath continues. What a superb catch that is. Dravid has gone for 82.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
That was a superb knock by Dravid.
He played so well, but he had a century within reach. He'll be really disappointed.
That over cost 12 runs. The new batsmen won't face for the time being. Lee to Blacksman. Oh, he's dropped it. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. That's the end of the 10th over. McGrath to begin a new over. It's in the air. That's the first boundary for Blacksman. There it goes. Blacksman moves into double figures with those runs. McGrath continues. That's gone high in the air. Super shot by Blacksman.
You really can't bowl short on this pitch. It's just giving runs away.
That's gone high in the air. McGrath only overpitched very slightly, but it was punished.
He really laid into that delivery. 4 runs all the way.
What a superb catch that is. So there was 16 off that over. We're about to see the first bowling change. There it goes, right out of the ground. He picked that up beautifully.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
Well, that's a really superb shot. That takes him into double figures. Ganguly is now facing. It's in the air. He certainly saw that one early.
Cracking shot. The secret there was that he got his feet into position early and had plenty of time to play the shot.
There it goes. Ganguly Very quickly onto that one.
Well, that sends an early message to the bowlers, and they need to keep it tight.
That's straight up in the air. Ganguly has now moved into the 20s. It's high in the air, hit down the ground beautifully by Ganguly.
He'll be pleased with that one. It came sweetly out of the middle of the bat.
38 overs are left for India. That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Dadagiri. McGrath is back in the attack. That's straight up in the air. He really plays those shots off the back foot quite brilliantly.
You really can't bowl short on this pitch. It's just giving runs away. Yes, good bowling there. Draw him forward and force him to play.
McGrath continues. That's gone high in the air. Dadagiri moves into double figures with those runs. A long hop and punish. Looks in good form out there.
The bowler can't have too many complaints about seeing that ball disappear to the boundary.
37 overs are left in the innings. Simons to begin a new over. There it goes. Ganguly won't miss anything bowled 2-4.
That was an excellent shot. Very exciting to watch.
Simons is back in the attack. That's straight up in the air. These two have now put on 50 for the fourth wicket. Simons is back in the attack. That's straight up in the air. He was onto that in a flash.
He plays that shot really well, and it brings him lots of runs.
Simons to bowl to Ganguly. That's straight up in the air. You can't afford to bowl that in there.
That was a perfect straight drive, met with an absolutely straight bat. Demoralising for the bowler.
Simons continues. Stopped by Martin. 36 overs are left for India. McGrath to begin a new over. Great shot by Dadagiri. Dadagiri has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. Well, that'll beat the fielder. Looks in good form out there.
Cracking shot. The secret there was that he got his feet into position early and had plenty of time to play the shot.
McGrath at the start of his run-up. He's got onto that one. McGrath is not impressed.
You really can't bowl short on this pitch. It's just giving runs away.
That's straight up in the air. McGrath is not impressed.
That was good batting. He picked his spot, didn't try to smash it, just stroked it through the gap.
It's in the air. McGrath is not impressed.
What a ripper. The crowd enjoyed that one.
Simons to continue with his off-spin. He's worked that into the gap. Hit straight to a fielder. Dadagiri facing. That's gone high in the air. Hit straight to a fielder. Ganguly facing. That's straight up in the air.
The bowler can't believe it, but it is out of the ground. 6 runs.
34 overs are left in the innings. Adani waiting at the striker's end. It's in the air. Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. That's gone high in the air. It's been a really good innings by Ganguly. That brings up his half century. There it goes. Ganguly is looking to punish any short deliveries.
Thanks very much. 4 runs. The bowler really needs to keep the ball up on this pitch.
McGrath continues. It's high in the air. Ganguly really takes advantage of anything over pitch.
Oh, great shot. That was a pleasure to see.
So there was 13 off that over. Badani waiting at the striker's end. That's gone high in the air. This partnership is now 103. The fielder will cut that off. Ganguly is now facing. There it goes. Badani is now facing. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. 32 overs are left in the innings. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Badani waiting at the striker's end. He's worked that into the gap. That's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. The batsmen are coming back for a second, picked up on the boundary by Martin. Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. He's worked that into the gap.
Go!
31 overs are left in the innings. Ganguly facing. That's straight up in the air. Simons to bowl to Adani. It's high in the air. Looks in good form out there.
That was a gift for the batsman.
It's in the air. He looks very happy out there. That's his half century, and it's taken him 27 balls. Ganguly is now facing. That's 4 runs. Well, he's seeing it like a beach ball out there now.
He loves the ball in that area. Great shot. 4 runs.
That's the end of the 20th over. Australia are about to make a change in the bowling. He's gone over the top with that, and it looks like 4 runs. He picked the length quickly with that one.
Well, they don't come much straighter than that. He got the full face of the bat on it and stroked it past the bowler.
It's in the air. He smashed that a long way.
That was a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
Martin to bowl to Adani. That's gone high in the air. Really looks in fine nick today.
He played that shot perfectly.
It's in the air. He found the gap with precision.
Well, it was in the air, but there's no one there. No risk.
Go!
29 overs are left for India. He's worked that into the gap. The fielder will cut that off. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Ganguly is now facing. That's a superb shot. That really was excellent timing.
That was a wonderful shot. He looks in great shape out there.
That over helped the run rate somewhat. Adani is now facing. It's in the air. Partnership between these two is now worth 151. That's gone high in the air. He hit that with awesome power.
What a ripper. The crowd enjoyed that one.
Martin to bowl to Adani. Over pitch and smashed to 4. Super shot by Adani.
Well, they don't come much straighter than that. He got the full face of the bat on it and stroked it past the bowler.
Go!
That's gone high in the air. Fielder hardly had a chance to move there.
Cracking shot. The secret there was that he got his feet into position early and had plenty of time to play the shot.
It's straight to a fielder. 27 overs are left for India. Ganguly facing. It's high in the air. That's gone high in the air. Badani moves into the 90s. Badani is now facing. There it goes. He was onto that in a flash.
The bowler put that right in his favourite area.
Out, he's caught him.
Very safely taken. Soft hands, that's what's important.
Badani eventually goes for 94. That was a superb knock by Badani.
He had a century in his sights, so he'll be a little disappointed.
Sriram awaits his first ball. That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Sriram. It's in the air. That was a real textbook shot.
That was a gift for the batsman.
17 runs came from that over. That's gone high in the air. That really was excellent timing.
You really can't bowl short on this pitch. It's just giving runs away.
That's too full and it's been punished. Super shot by Ganguly.
Well played. He got into perfect position for that shot. Head over the ball. Weight going forward.
Martin to Sriram. That's straight up in the air. That takes him into double figures. It's high in the air. The crowd were brought to their feet by that shot.
That was an excellent shot. Very exciting to watch.
That's gone high in the air. Sriram has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. That's the halfway mark, 25 overs. Stopped by Ponting. Simons to bowl to Ganguly. A cracking stroke. That was four the moment it left his bat.
It's tough for the bowlers on a pitch like this, as there really is no margin for error.
A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. Ganguly will be eyeing his century now. Trouble here. The batsman will have to run these. Martin to begin a new over. It's high in the air. Crowd were brought to their feet by that shot.
That was a great shot to watch. He just leant into it and stroked it to the boundary for 4.
I think he was easily back in the crease there. That's straight up in the air. Out. No. Dropped.
Well, he was in good position, but it just didn't stick. Straight into the hands and straight out again.
We're going to see the leg spinner worn. That's a fantastic strike. He really struck that well.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
It's high in the air. Played into the gap. Sriram waiting at the striker's end. It's high in the air. Partnership between these two is now worth 53. That's a big hit. It's 6. Well, that nearly joined us up here in the commentary box.
He hardly seemed to hit it, but it's gone for 6.
That over helped the run rate somewhat. Martin continues. Martin continues. That's well bowled by Martin. Martin at the start of his run-up. He looked as if he was home to me. It's in the air. He can enjoy this as he's had to work very hard for it. There's his century.
That's an excellent century. He's played quite brilliant.
He looked as if he was home to me. Martin continues. It's high in the air. Super shot by Ganguly.
Well, you don't see that shot played much better than that.
21 overs are left for India. Warren to begin a new over. There it goes. Warren to Ganguly. Steered expertly into the gap. Oh, what a catch, Bevan. Sriram is making his way back to the pavilion.
That was a lazy shot. He didn't get over it at all.
Those are the first runs for Gurkha.
Go! Yes! On!
Steered expertly into the gap. That's the end of the 30th over. Martin to begin a new over.
Go! Yes! Go!
Martin at the start of his run-up.
Waiting!
Ganguly is now on strike. It's in the air. That was a wonderfully timed straight drive.
That came right out of the meat. Excellent shot.
Oh, that's gone a long way. He really struck that well.
That was a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
It's high in the air. Played that with superb timing.
That was too wide. The bowler should be bowling a tighter line and not giving the batsman any room.
6. That came right off the middle of the bat.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence.
"19 overs are left for India." Played into the gap.
Waiting!
Didn't quite get hold of that one properly.
Waiting!
Didn't quite get hold of that one properly.
Waiting!
He's got it into the gap.
Go!
The Gurkha waiting at the striker's end.
Waiting!
He's worked that into the gap. 18 overs are left in the innings. He's worked that into the gap.
Waiting!
That's gone high in the air. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
He really laid into that delivery. 4 runs all the way.
It's in the air. He was onto that flash.
That came right out of the meat. Excellent shot.
Martin continues. It's high in the air. Crowd were brought to their feet by that shot.
Well, you can't afford to overpitch like that. 2 full and dispatched for 4.
That's gone high in the air. You can't afford to bowl that in there.
Too short, too wide. Not a great delivery.
"17 overs are left for India." There it goes. The Gurkha moves into double figures with those runs.
Waiting!
It's straight at Bevan. That's straight up in the air. They were diving for cover and stand there.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
That's too short, and it's been dispatched before. The Gurkha has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. 14 runs came from that over by Warne. We're about to see a change in the bowling. That was a mighty hit.
Another one of those, and this bowler could be out of the attack.
He's worked that into the gap. The batsmen are after 2.
Go! Yes! Go! Go!
Hit straight to a fielder.
Right.
He's worked that into the gap. That's the end of the 35th over. Warne to begin a new over. Comfortably taken, no worries. Mongia takes his place at the crease. Stopped by Ponting. Mongia is now on strike. That's the first runs of the day for Mongia. The batsmen are after 2. The batsmen are in trouble here. Warne at the start of his run-up. Warne to bowl to Mongia. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. "14 overs are left for India." Harvey to begin a new over. not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Ganguly is now facing.
No! Yes! No!
It's high in the air. Just over pitched by Harvey.
That was a really good shot. He looks in top form out there.
No!
It's in the air. And they were diving for cover in the stand there.
He hardly seemed to hit it, but it's gone for 6.
It's high in the air. They can't afford to give him any width at all.
Well, that was just a long hop and it got the full treatment.
Harvey at the start of his run-up. "15 runs came from that over.
Waiting!
He's worked that into the gap.
Wait! Wait!
Well, that'll certainly beat the fielder into the fence. It wasn't a very good delivery.
Lovely front foot shot. Head over the ball, wrists in front of the bat as he played through the line.
Warren is back in the attack.
Waiting!
The batsman will have to run these. He's worked that into the gap.
No! No!
That's straight up in the air. That takes him into double figures. Mongia facing.
No!
There it goes. That went like a rocket to the fence.
Well, that was a pretty poor delivery. It just sat up and asked to be smashed.
No!
He's really given that a whack. 6 runs. That was 6 all the way.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
There it goes. Mongia has now moved into the 20s. A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. Fielded in the deep by Martin.
No!
11 overs are left for India.
No! Waiting!
A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary.
Yes!
Warren continues.
Done.
Lovely late cut. Hayden doing the fielding. Warren continues. A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary.
Wait, ten. No.
There's a mix-up with the batsman. Warren continues. Superb shot. These two have taken their partnership to 53. That's the end of their 40th over. Harvey to begin a new over. There it goes. Super shot by Mongia.
He'll have enjoyed that one. It was for the moment it left his bat.
It's in the air. He smashed that a long way.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
It's straight at Lehman. That's straight up in the air. Mongia really punishes anything short.
That was a good shot. He saw it early and got into position quickly.
Harvey at the start of his run-up. He goes over the top. He watched that onto the bat perfectly.
You really can't bowl short on this pitch. It's just giving runs away.
6 now for over 2. Mongia waiting at the striker's end. "19 runs came from that over for India. We're about to see a change in the bowling. It's high in the air. The crowd are giving him an excellent round of applause. Well, there's his half century.
That's a well-deserved half century. He's played very well.
That's gone high in the air. Really looks in fine nick today.
Really good shot there. Nicely timed and picked the gap perfectly.
Mongia facing. That's straight up in the air. That was a really confident shot.
Lovely front foot shot. Head over the ball, wrists in front of the bat as he played through the line.
It's in the air. Just over pitched by Martin.
Cracking shot. He's in great form.
It's high in the air. Mongia very quickly onto that one.
Too short, too wide. Not a great delivery.
Ganguly is now on strike. It's high in the air. That wasn't a very good delivery.
He played that shot perfectly.
Mongia waiting at the striker's end. That's gone high in the air. Partnership for the 7th wicket is now 102. Harvey continues. That's gone high in the air. Super shot by Mongia.
He really needs to concentrate on line and length right now to keep the runs down.
It's high in the air. He looks in good form out there.
He picked his spot well there, a glorious boundary.
Harvey to bowl to Mongia. It's in the air. He picked the length quickly with that one.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
7 overs are left in the innings. That's straight up in the air. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
He gave the batsman too much room there. 4 runs.
Yes, no!
There it goes. That really was a super stroke.
He played that shot perfect.
That's gone high in the air. Martin only overpitched very slightly, but it was punished.
The drive is a beautiful shot to watch when played well, and that was a perfect example.
Oh, that's gone a long way. He hardly seemed to hit that, yet it sailed over the ropes.
He hardly seemed to hit it, but it's gone for 6.
Martin is back in the attack. So there was 20 off that over.
No! No!
That's straight up in the air.
Well, he really hit that a long way. Exciting stuff.
No!
It's high in the air. That takes him into the 90s.
No! No!
Harvey is back in the attack. That's straight up in the air. He looks very happy out there. There's his century. And that's the end of the 45th over. Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. That's gone high in the air. Oh, he's dropped it.
The bowler will be very upset about that. He's worked hard to create a chance, only for the fielder to spill it.
Martin had the batsman in trouble with that one. There it goes. That ball was at the fence in no time at all.
Well, you don't see that shot played much better than that.
That's straight up in the air. Mongia facing. That was a cracking delivery from Harvey. That's gone high in the air, and they were diving for cover in the stand there.
The fielder just watched it. Going, going, going.
Harvey to bowl to Mongia. It's in the air. That's a real textbook shot.
That was a good shot. He saw it early and got into position quickly.
It's in the air. That was a superb placement.
That was a perfect straight drive, met with an absolutely straight bat. Demoralising for the bowler.
That's straight up in the air. That was a superb placement.
Well, you don't see that shot played much better than that.
3 overs are left in the innings. We're about to see a change in the bowling. That's gone high in the air. Super shot by Ganguly.
The bowler gave him too much room there. He needs to keep the ball on a tighter line.
That's straight up in the air. This is a really vital innings by Ganguly. That's a double hundred for Ganguly.
His flight has been brilliant, and he deserves this haul of wickets.
That's wonderful bowling from Lee. That's straight up in the air. Looks in good form out there.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
It's high in the air. That clattered into the boards.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
That over helped the run rate somewhat. There it goes. You can't afford to bowl that in there.
Cracking shot. The secret there was that he got his feet into position early and had plenty of time to play the shot.
That's a big hit. It's 6. Partnership between these two is now worth 1. That's straight up in the air. That was a real textbook shot.
He gave him a lot of width and paid the price. The batsman enjoyed that.
Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. It's high in the air. He smashed that a long way.
He hardly seemed to hit it, but it's gone for 6.
There it goes. Gave that some fearful hammer.
Cracking shot. The secret there was that he got his feet into position early and had plenty of time to play the shot.
Run.
That's gone high in the air. Ganguly really takes advantage of anything over pitch.
Well, he smashed that for 4 with a big smile on his face.
At the end of the innings, India have scored 6 for 650.
That's a solid total by India. It really is a very big score.
Srinath is the opening bowler for India. So to sum up then, India win by 305 runs.